All right, so for this coding challenge, what we want to do, we want to create a function that converts days into hours. It's also going to convert days into minutes and then finally into seconds. So you should be able to plug in something for days. Okay, you should pass that in and you should get a string back that says this number of days is this number of hours, it's this many minutes, this many seconds. So for example, if you plugged in, let's say 3 for 3 days, you should get that there's 72 hours, okay, or 4,320 minutes, or 259,200 seconds, okay? So I put here that there's 24 hours in a day, there's 60 minutes in an hour, and there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So go ahead and pause the video, give this an honest try on your own. If you can't get it after 5 or 10 minutes, it's fine. You can unpause the video and we're gonna do it together. So let's get rid of this. And let's start by finding the number of hours based on the number of days. So I'm going to write a little function and I'm going to call this get hours. And I'm going to have a parameter called days, okay? And basically I know that there's 24 hours in a day. So I can just return 24 times days, okay? So in other words, if I plugged in a 3 here, okay, what I'd have is 24 times 3, which gives me 72. Let's go ahead and see that real quick. I'm just going to console.log the get hours. I'm going to plug in 3 for 3 days, and I should get 72. So let's pop this open and run this guy, and we do get 72 as expected. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is write another little function for get minutes. So I want to do function get minutes, okay? And I'm going to be working with days again. So here I've got to think about the fact that there's 60 minutes in every hour, okay? Now how can I get hours? Well, I wrote a function for that. So what I can do here is first I can call get hours, okay? So I can call get hours. Let's store this in a variable for a second. So let's go const hours is equal to get hours, and then I'm going to put the days in here, okay? So from here, I have the number of hours, and now if I want the minutes, I would take this guy. So I would say something like const minutes is equal to, I would do the hours times 60, okay? So because we have 60 minutes in 1 hour, I could take the number of hours, multiply it by 60, I've got the number of minutes. So if I had something like 2 hours, I wanted to know how long is this in minutes, multiply it by 60, I get 120 minutes. Now let's just go ahead and console.log the minutes here, just to check this. So I'm going to call this out here. So I'm going to console.log this get minutes, and I'm going to plug in 3 for 3 days, and we should get 4,320 minutes. Okay, so let's pop this open, clear this, and run this, and we get 4,320 minutes. The undefined is coming from the fact that, again, we didn't return anything, so that's why it says that. Okay, so let's get rid of this and think about how we could shorten this. Do we really need these variables? I would say no, right? We don't need them. What I'm going to do is actually just return, okay? I'm first going to get the hours, okay? This is going to be a value, okay? And then I can just multiply that value by 60, okay? That's all I need to do. So let's come over here and get rid of that. So now I have my minutes. Okay, so now let's do a get seconds. So I'm going to do function get seconds, and I'm going to have days again as a parameter. So what I can think about here is there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So in other words, if I had 2 minutes multiplied by 60, I get 120 seconds. So first, we could do what we did before where I did a variable for each one, but again, that's just such a waste. So let's just return. First, I'm gonna call get minutes, okay, with the number of days. And then from there, I'm just gonna multiply that by 60, and that's going to give me the number of seconds. So for example, if I call this, let's do console.log, and I do get seconds, and I meant to do get seconds. And let's say, again, we plug in 3 for 3 days. Well, this is gonna be 259,200, okay? So let's pop this open, let's clear this and run this, and we get 259,200 as expected. All right, so now let's make something that will tie all this together and give us our little string that says, hey, this many days is this many hours and this many minutes and this many seconds. So let's go ahead and do something like function, and I'll put days conversion, something like that. And I'm gonna have days there. And basically I'm just gonna return a little string. So I'm gonna start by saying, you know, this many days. So this many days, and I'll put days like that. So it could be 1 day or multiple days. So this many days, we'll say converts to $ curly braces. I need to do hours here. So I'm gonna do hours, and then I'll put a comma, $ curly braces. This is gonna be for minutes. So I'm gonna put minutes, and then comma, I'll put or, and then $ curly braces is going to be for seconds. So I'll put seconds. Okay. So basically what's going to go in these places here, I'm going to do function calls, right? So this one, I'm going to call the one for hours. So I'm going to go get hours, pass in the day or the days. And then here, I'm going to do the get minutes, pass in the days. And then lastly, for this one, I'm going to do get hours, okay, and pass in the days. So let's go ahead and try this guy out a few times, see if it's working. So let's console.log the days conversion, and let's start with 3. So we already know what this should be. It should be 72 hours. It should be 4,320 minutes, and then it should also be 259,200 seconds. So let's pop this open and clear this and run this. And we get 3 days converts to 72 hours, 4,320 minutes, or 72 seconds. So this part is wrong. So let's go back and see what we did. So I put get hours here. So this should be get seconds. Okay. So let's pop this back open, clear this, and run this again. And now we have the correct answer. 3 days converts to 72 hours, 4,320 minutes, or 259,200 seconds. So as expected. So we can play around with this. Let's say we do something like 10 days. So let's go ahead and clear this and run this. So we have 10 days converts to 240 hours, right? Because you have 24 times 10, 14,400 minutes, or 864,000 seconds. Let's do one that's less than a day. So let's do something like, let's say you get 0.5 days. So let's pop this open, clear this, and run this, and you get 0.5 days, so basically half a day, converts to 12 hours, 720 minutes, or 43,200 seconds.